Fisher Coach Chronicle, and today is Monday. We had, for most of us, we had a long holiday and we had a lot of family fun, and now we're back at it, right? We're back at work. So I wanted to do a Take 15 episode this morning to help you to think about something that I think may restore some situations, may also help to heal your mind, and can also help you to think of ways to where you start to be a little more mindful of how people experience you. Okay? Oftentimes, while we're here, we have a tendency to be very self-absorbed. And what I mean by that is we tend to get very, very frustrated by how we are experiencing life. And then we also find ourselves very easily triggered or easily agitated or aggravated, or we feel a certain way when we get certain responses, we get certain attitudes, we get certain, comments made towards us. And what I want you to think about is I want you to think about something that I think is very important. We have a tendency to experience our life not based upon how others experience us, but how we experience other people's actions, comments, attitudes, some verbal, some nonverbal. And I want you to challenge yourself. And why I say to do this is it really helps us to improve. While we're on the planet, we want to kind of sit down and start looking at ways to where we improve how others experience us. I know it's oftentimes we're always, very emotional about how we experience other people, but I want you to consider thinking about how do other people experience you. Now, one of the exercises that I would like for you to try is to do an evaluation on if you were someone close to you, how you believe that you would receive and experience you. Journal on this. The reason I say do this is because sometimes we don't really realize how we are towards others that we love, that we know, that we like, that we're friends with, even family. We don't realize how our actions or even our attitude or even some of our non-verbal things we do actually impact other people. We don't know because we're actually unaware. So I want you to consider doing this. The reason I'm telling you that it's important is sometimes we learn to actually improve certain ways to what we do based upon how we pay attention to what other people are experiencing out of our actions. So for instance, if you have a tendency to smack your lips or get an attitude, shrug your shoulders, roll your eyes, anytime someone asks you to do something, whether it's just because it's just your habit or it's just your mannerism or your way, consider maybe realizing that this is a habit that I don't even realize I do. And when you don't realize that you do certain things, you don't realize how other people receive that action. So for instance, people that are familiar with you and have known you for years and They'll ask you to do something, you shrug your shoulders, or roll your eyes, and they know you, they're used to it. So they're not going to care about that. They're like, oh yeah, that's Sarah. She's always shrugging her shoulders or rolling her eyes about something. It's nothing big, it's no big deal. But for a stranger, they may take that very personally. They may be like, what is that about? And now, because you are so used to doing it that you don't even realize that you actually do it and aren't consciously aware, you start to realize like, oh, I do that. And how can I change it? You can. It just requires for you to make some actual actions where you can say, okay, I realize that I do this and it may be misinterpreted, that I'm agitated, aggravated, easily angered by someone asking something of me. And I'm not personally, but because I do this action, it comes off as I am actually doing it. And I'm not doing it in a harmful way or trying to hurt someone's feelings, but someone might find themselves to be very aggravated by that, as an example. And so sometimes we have to step out of our own ways and look and see, okay, I do tend to do this. Now I have to make a conscious decision to change it. And can I? Absolutely. Just start being more aware of when someone asks something of you, rather than just someone asking you something, you roll your eyes and shrug your shoulders and you keep going, not thinking that, oh my God, I'm actually impacting someone. But the next time someone asks you something, rather than just automatically, or should I say unconsciously, subconsciously just doing it, actually stop yourself and say, you know what, you asked something of me, and actually own it to the person. You actually asked me to do something, and I am trying to work on a behavior that I do because I don't realize that it's something that I need to work on. But because I've actually been doing this for a while, I think I'm trying to come up with a way to change it. So ask that of me again, and let's try that again. I want to change the way I responded. And then as you come to terms with making that decision, what that does now is it disrupts your habit. Okay? When you disrupt a habit, it means you stop it and you can transform it just like that. Now you'll do it in that moment. But now don't think, okay, I'm saved, I fixed it, I'm great now. No. You have to do it on a repeated state over and over again, to where now it becomes less likely that you're going to roll your eyes and shrug your shoulders the next time someone asks you something. This is how we can transform, very easily, how we can transform a bad habit, or just a way to which we are that we don't like anymore. We would like to have someone experience our presence in a more positive light. Not hard, it's just something that you can do, and it's very simple to do it. Last but not least, here's something I want you to think about. When we have challenges in our life that we haven't worked on, it's very easy for us to just be like, I'm over it, I don't care about it, but it's still there. It's still in the back of our minds, it's still in our hearts, our souls. Here's what's true. You can really find out a lot about yourself by paying attention to what other people tell you that they experience of you. So listen to when people say, oh, I love it when you come in here. You are one of the people that I enjoy. I'm so glad to see you. You're a light. Or just listen to someone else's evaluation of you, because most people will tell you what they experience from you. You may not like what you hear, But sometimes you can hear some things and be like, do I really impact you like that? Oh, wow, I didn't know. The more that you bring joy in someone else's life just by your presence will impact you more than you know. You will be amazed at just going in and saying, hey, I didn't know that I'm giving people, you know, someone to look forward to seeing. I didn't know that. Well, you can. It just requires for you to stop and listen to what other people are telling you about what they experience from you. This is important because this helps you to improve and understand how can you impact other lives. You can. It just requires something a little different. It's not always easy to change. But again, in order to make change, in order to do things differently, we have to acknowledge first what it is that we do. How does someone receive me when I make this kind of gesture, or when I shrug my shoulders, or I'm breathing hard, or stomping my feet, or always complaining, or whatever I'm doing? How can I change that? How can someone be like, wow, you really changed in the last couple of days. I've noticed you haven't done what you normally do, which is complain about being here. That's rare. What happened with you? I'm just trying to change some things. And you'll notice when it is for the better, you'll start to get a lot more praise, and you'll get a lot more people complimenting what difference you made in your own decision, number one, and how you are sticking to it, and how much it has really made a difference in how they see you. See, people have a tendency to think they know you from familiarity, from seeing you all the time. People can have a tendency to get really kind of, I don't know, familiar with you. And when people get familiar, they start to thinking, oh my gosh, I know her. But when you start making changes, you can change what they know. You can actually invite them into a new version of yourself, which actually helps to encourage you to continue on with your changes. And once you master one change and you see how you get this positive feedback and positive response, and you're starting to feel more enjoyed when you come into a space, you'll start to realize that, man, it wasn't hard to change. I just had to acknowledge it. Once I acknowledged it, I then made a conscious decision to change it. Once I changed it, I didn't just change it in one time. I spoke about it. I said, I'm going to make this change. Once I made that change, then what I did was I took that information, and then I made sure to keep doing it on a repetitive, more than once, and over and over and over again. I did it habitually. Now, once I did that and I started to make the changes, and I changed and I made things look a lot better than they were, guess what happened? I'm in a greater state. Now, all that I worked on, I'm now feeling a lot of joy now. I'm feeling a lot more lighter on my feet. I'm feeling more appreciated. This isn't hard to do. It just takes a commitment. And once we get habitual with making a change and we do it, guess what happens? We get a different feedback. Once you get the feedback and you start to see that people really enjoy you and really are happy that you made the change, it's awesome. I'm your coach, Carla Nicole. Make sure to share this video. Tell your friends how important it is to just make a minor change and how much it makes a major difference, because it does. Also, not only subscribe to the channel, make sure to hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I do another Take 15. This was 15 minutes, and that's all it took. How about that? I'm Coach Carla Nicole. I'm signing off. Best kept.